Welcome to the From the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's a Twitter like whore, an Instagram thirst trap, and your grandma's guilty pleasure, Beef Loaf. A West Coast attitude in a decidedly Midwest body, My Sock Summer. And your host, he's sharing obscure music thoughts to give you time to hit the bathroom, Cherezy E.
Thank you, Cornsey. Welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If Beef Loaf says allegedly, or that he wrote a blog about that, you drink. If My Sock Summer mentions his time on the West Coast, or lets another hoodie get stolen, you drink.
Yes.
I swear, here's the thing. You drink. Also, you can make any of us shut the fuck up for 5 minutes by tipping $5. And you can make all of us drink for just $1.08 or any tip that you want to give. And speaking of drinking, fellas, what are you drinking? Beef Loaf, what are you drinking tonight?
Boys, I'm bringing it correct tonight. I got a dirty vodka martini. Look at that. Look at those blue cheese olives. Going to be delicious, man. I got a couple backups here in the fridge. I know you hate martini glasses.
Hate the glass. Love the initiative.
Man.
That's a proper drink on a Thursday night, all right? But we're going to start cocktailing a little more, okay?
You know, I keep hearing, Beef, that this is the year of the pickle juice martini. Have you had a pickle juice martini?
I have not, but I'm open to it. I got to give it a try. I just got into dirty martinis. I've been talking a lot to Billy Wires. He's a big fan. He kind of like influenced me a little bit to try it. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big olive guy to begin with, but if an olive is filled with blue cheese, then I am a big fan of it because I fucking love blue cheese.
Oh, you got blue cheese in there too?
Yeah, that's what you said. Stinky.
Bet your ass.
What a shock.
Dude, I like
he found a way to get cheese into his
the garlic in the olives is good too. I like those.
Oh, I haven't tried that. I have to give that a try too. Yeah.
I'm a big garlic guy. I love garlic.
Oh, beautiful
stuff.
Danny, thank you for noticing the hat. I'm very excited about this hat.
Oh, fucking
Team
right.
Mexico, baby. I can't wait. We're going to be doing, I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing playback for Mexico versus USA with the guys from Sox Machine. So make sure to tune in for that. My Sock Summer, what are you drinking, my friend?
I'm a Team Puerto Rico, just so everybody knows. Tonight, as you know, I start off with a taste. My first taste is the Eagle Rare, the 10-year age bourbon. And then I'm going to move into, because we're celebrating, you know, we've landed some gigs. We've landed some new paying customers, you know, for the 108. So we're not breaking any news tonight or anything, but I'm going to go in the new riff. I'm going to go with the not bottom shelf bottle. HBIC Head Bum in Charge introduced me to New Rift and got me entirely too slammed at a White Sox game this past summer, and it is just a great bottle for $50. Chorizo, what are you drinking?
Yeah, I've been I'm trying to lose weight, so I've been drinking a lot of beer.
You have been losing weight.
Great job.
I got some Jukebox Heroes tonight. I got the Heroes League of Heroes or whatever it is, the 12er. Yeah. So I got a few different things down there. We'll see how it goes. But this one, I really like this one. It's really good. I did not get a job at Myers.
Yeah, John Carney wants to know, did you get a job at Myers? No, that's the World Baseball Classic Mexico hat. Treasy and I both have them. I don't have mine on tonight, but Treasy's donning his. They're fantastic.
Yeah, there's a beautiful Mexican flag on the back of it. You can't see it. I'm not going to turn around because the back of my head is far too sexy. You guys don't deserve it. All right.
Now I really want to know what's going on in the back of your head. Getting wet. Cornsey putting it to you from behind and just.
You wish,
motherfucker.
You wish you knew. Guys, usually I kick it around to all you and thanks Yump for the drink.
Oh, Yump, bless you.
Too.
Salute to you, my friend.
Usually I kick it around to you guys, see how you're doing, but there's something on my mind. I got to bring it up. Because it's kind of
shit on my mind.
I've seen people talking about it, and there's this Tim Anderson interview out there. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but I was listening to it, and Tim Anderson said something that I can't stop thinking about, to be honest. So Barstool Carl is interviewing Tim Anderson.
Yes.
And he's giving him some of the criticism that people give him all the time. And one of them was about stolen bases. And you know what he said? He said, hey, tell the coach, give me a green light. Were they holding him back? Were they holding back the stolen bases? Beef, we've talked about this a lot. Man.
Yeah.
Is this year going to be a big stolen base year?
I hope so. I hope Pedro talks a good game, like he's going to press all the edges or whatever. And I wrote a blog about recently how the White Sox didn't press those edges last year. Tony was sleeping on the job. He had opportunities to steal. And I guess once he was out of there and Elvis Andrews showed up, they let Elvis run all the time, and he's 11 for 11. So, like, they realized it. They just weren't always pressing on the gas. Could be injuries, could be whatever, that they weren't doing it. But I hope so, Treasy. I hope they're really go.
I mean, I think we heard some things during the season, right? Of like, they're telling some guys not to, don't run out.
Don't go too hard.
All this stuff. Don't go too hard because we're worried about you. Like that would, in that case, that would definitely keep them from going like, have this guy steal a base. Don't let Luis Robert steal second because he's going to slide head first, right? Like those types of things. And it's like, if you're that scared, you're not gonna get good results, right? Like, so I'm hoping that they're a little more daring on the base pads. It sounds like Tim's ready to go for stealing some bases, and Tim like gets on base enough and is fast enough. That's 30 stolen bases isn't nuts.
Hey man, I called 40 on 108 day. I said 40 for Tim this year.
I love it.
40-40 club, ESPN on the screen. Yeah.
I had to talk about it. Sorry.
That must you jump in now.
He's all up in the news, right? And that Carl interview was good. And honestly, I listened to that first. And then I started seeing all the blowback on Tim Anderson. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's doing media. I'm like, okay, I need to listen to this. But before I could listen to it, I heard the breakdown of it by Layla Rahimi and Lawrence Holmes on 670 The Score. And I was like listening to them go off and do their thing. And I'm like, oh my God, Tim really clapped back at Chuck Garfien. And I was just hearing the little clips. And I'm like, and then if you guys haven't heard it, you should go listen to it. Listen to the whole podcast, though. I would say that. I don't just listen to the sound clips. Don't listen to just the meat and potatoes. I mean, listen to the entire, eat your salad, maybe order an appetizer. Get ingest the whole thing before you go out and start maybe screaming about it on like, social channels. So I'm listening to it and I'm like, God damn, this is some shit. Tim said some shit. Oh my God. I was like Ennis, when I came home from the Eddie Murphy show.
You heard some stuff.
I was like, I heard some stuff, man. He's like, what did the man say? And I was like, he said some things, so I again, we still need to write that blog of required watching if you want to listen to the 108 podcast, things that you probably should watch, and Raw is one of them. But anyway, I'm like, okay, this is going to be some shit. So I go in and I listen to the podcast and God bless Chuck Garfien and Ryan Guffey. They knew that this was like going to be a big selling podcast. So there's 15 minutes of Chuck and Ryan. There's 5 minutes of Tim and Chuck. And then there's 15 minutes of Chuck and Ryan at the end. So, I mean, good job, fellas. I mean, just unbelievably great listening to all that drivel. And it was almost like the Sox in the Basement podcast. It was 5 minutes of Tim and then 15 minutes of Guff and whatever. So anyway. Shout out to Sox in the Basement. But anyway, so I'm listening to it, and guys, I don't know. I heard Josh Nelson and Jim Margolis speak on it, and I'm kind of falling in line with Josh. And like, hey, I don't really see the big issue here. I don't understand why Tim Anderson, in a joking manner, in 100% like joking, jovial. Hey, we're trading punches. You're going to come at me, I'm going to come at you type style, says to Chuck, you're part of this. And he laughs, like can't even keep a straight face when he says it. He almost falls out of his chair. He's laughing so hard because Chuck like literally nestles at the teat of the White Sox machine. Like, I mean, he is right there, and he called out a little thing, some things at the end of the year. I don't even think it made that much of an impact because I don't remember it. I don't remember him doing that. I was like, this is a nothing burgers.
Let me tell you my biggest problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's my biggest problem with it.
What's your biggest problem?
We just gave away a free 5 minutes of My Sock Summer talking. That is supposed to be $50.
We screwed that up.
My fault.
Yeah, no, we screwed that up. That was a mistake.
Jesus,
I agree.
I blame Chuck Garfien.
It's mostly Chuck Garfien.
He owes us $5. All right, Chuck owes us $5.
This was more than you would hear from Tim Anderson in that podcast. So I just talked longer than he was on that podcast. But no, and guys, and listen, I understand why people are upset, kind of, but it's very uncalled for. And it's not something that needs to be said. And this is something that I've been thinking about. And I was like, when I saw that Tim had called out the people, I was like, okay, how's this shit going to end? Because people are going to be very, very upset because they're perceived that Tim Anderson is taking a swipe at them. And he's not doing that. He's saying, listen, we consider the fans part of the team. We want you to bring us up when we're down. Don't get down on us when we're down, because then we're just going to stay down. And so I was reading a lot on the internet, then post this, and people are saying, fuck him. He's $1 million athlete, makes millions of dollars to play a game. Fuck him and his feelings. And he should be able to take this, and he's soft. No, he's a human, just like you're a human and I'm a human. You know, like if you wouldn't want somebody doing that, just because some of the biggest crybabies, fucking weird ass people that I know make the most amount of money. Yes,
former crybaby.
You can put recovering crybaby. I'm a recovering crybaby. We'll get into that later.
But what I'm saying is like the people that you expect, you'd be like, hey, this boss of my company makes millions of dollars. Fuck him. I'm gonna go at him and tell him to fuck off. No, you're not. You're gonna fucking do what you can to make him happy because you want to somehow gain from it. I'm not saying that you need to kiss Tim Anderson's ass when he does something stupid, but you can't bitch about everything. And White Sox fans, you've been bitching about everything. You bitch about tier ticket prices. You bitch about not having lower level access with fucking 500 level tickets. You bitch about it. So when your bitches have started to become really numb on the ears, folks. Like you can't complain about everything because all of a sudden ain't no one gonna listen to you. There's a whole
you complain about everything. There's a whole thing.
If you don't mind, can I jump in here?
Because
jump in. I've been waiting to talk, and MSS keeps going. I thought he was getting to a point here. First, let me bring up Ian's question. Low phone be tricked into listening. You're damn right. Okay, Chuck tried to trick our asses. Right? He put up that shitty ass little thing that got everyone's attention. He tried to trick me into listening to his show. His show sucks. I am not listening to it. Okay, I'm with Treasy. I listened to the Barstool Carl. I saw the clip. I heard Lawrence Holmes. I heard Sox Machine Josh, all these guys. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate the drink.
Danny, you're the best.
Everyone's missing the point here. Everyone is missing the entire goddamn point of all of this.
What's the point?
And you'll get it more if you listen to the Barstool Carl thing. What Tim is doing here is he's asking for your help. He needs you. He's trying to galvanize everything here and go in the right direction. He knows he's got to do something he's really uncomfortable with. Go out and speak to the media. He's got to go out there and show leadership attributes, right? If you listen to the Barstool Carl thing, he went to Driveline. He's been working hard at a lot of different stuff. He even mentions in there, like, I'll get better. You just give me time. And that was a recurring theme for him. He knows the position they're in. He knows they fucking sucked last year. He knows he's got to push them. Yep. He's asking for your help. He wants you, the fan, to be part of this. He wants you to help bring them back. He's not dissing you. He's saying we need you. And that was the whole tenor of the entire thing. I couldn't believe everyone got in their feelings, including Chuck. Chuck was like, well, me? I was thinking to myself, shut up, Chuck. All right, it's not about you. No one gives a shit about you, and especially not Tim. He barely knows your goddamn name. Who cares? Like, it's not about any of us, but it's about the Sox. And Tim would really like all of us to be back in. And he's, in his way, begging us to come back in and be part of it. Did he deliver it the way you wanted? Maybe not. But from hearing the Barstool Carl interview and hearing that clip, no, Chuck, I'm not going to go listen to the podcast. You got to improve your podcast before I'm going to listen. I'm not listening to it. But
let's fast forward for 15 minutes. You're fine.
That's what he's doing. So I think Tim, it's a call to us. He wants us. He needs us.
Treasy, you brought up a point in our group chat, and I want to know if you're going to bring it up again, where you said you can't be on both sides, and I didn't know if like you were like, can you explain that? Because I think that's good.
To.
No,
but
okay.
What I would say though is like I feel like a lot of the people that were mad about this are in the media, and it was really a thing where he was saying to them, you do this to, you talk shit to the team, you lose access to the team, and that's actually how it works. And I think they're mad that people are saying it out loud. I think that was kind of the other thing that like people were mad about, and MSS to what I was saying in the chat, which I didn't want you to bring up, but I will bring it up. That people like Chuck don't get to be fucking friends with these guys. All right, that's why we don't ever have players on. We don't want to be friends with them. We watch them for entertainment, right? Like they're guys on the field, and we talk about them because we're entertained by them. Like we don't want to be like best friends with these guys, and so. If you try and have that relationship where you're like, we're best of buds. Well, you know, it's kind of tough when you go and talk shit about your best of buds over there, you know? So like,
yes.
So that's, I mean, like, I don't think we need to say that because I think it's obvious, but like at the same time, like, I think some of the media were a little pissed because he was talking about what goes on in the house and like what you're not allowed to talk about what goes on behind, you know, back there.
Well, and I think he's right. He's right to a certain extent. And I think that there's something that like Brooks Boyer has told us and has said to me. I know he hasn't told you guys because he doesn't really like you guys, but he's told me, hey, I know that you're not like on board with everything we do and everything we say, but at least you give us a fair shake on these things. And I was like, exactly. That's kind of what we've always operated under the principle. Like, we're not going to be unnecessarily mean to somebody because they're having a bad time. I mean, listen, we became, Treasy, to echo your statement, we became friends with Daniel Palka. And we had the hardest time trying to tell people, okay, he's done. You can't be on this team anymore. It was the hardest thing in the world because you know them as a person and you know it as that. And people sometimes wanted to refer to these people as assets, but you can, but also but don't expect them to sign your bat game used when you see them the next time, or don't expect them to stay a little extra and then sign your kid's mitt. You know, like be cool to the people like you would be cool to any other person in the fucking world, you know, that you're paying money to see. You know, it's their job. And that was a kind of a recurring theme with Tim Anderson in both interviews where he was like, he's treating it like he's like, this is my job. He's like, I got shit going at home too. I mean, wink, wink. And he's like, the day does not end as soon as I get off that field. And he's like, the next day as soon as we've lost that game, I'm already thinking about the next game. As soon as we won that game, we're thinking about the next one. You know, where it's like it's a grind. And I thought Tim was good in both interviews. He's way more candid in Barstool Carl's, but he was definitely candid by the end of the Chuck Garfien interview. It was great. Like, he's like, you know, we can't win 162 games. We're going to lose. So just please, you know, like just take it easy on us and just be fair. And I'm like, I don't think that's an unreasonable request.
I'm sorry. What were you talking about?
I know. Exactly. You guys, man, don't tell me in the back. Listen, baby. Like, yo, listen. I know you were doing good. Your brother, though. He's like,
he's a jerk.
I'm gonna let you go on and do your thing. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. And then I do it, and you're like, I'm sorry, I was opening beers, not paying attention to you.
I was paying attention. Calm down. Don't get in your feelings now, motherfucker.
Listen.
Yes.
You want to be my friend or you want to be my partner? What?
Senor Sox is right. Don't expect them to sign your Beanie Babies. That's absolutely right.
I'm gonna send them to you, bitch.
I would like a Hawk Harrelson signed like Hawk Beanie Baby though. I would buy that from you. I'd give you at least $4 for that MSS.
Man, yeah, I'm sure I'll make.
Gas Money Bob says 162 wins should be the goal. And Jerry O'Sullivan says Treasy checking his phone the entire time.
I was not checking my phone. My phone is over here. My beer is over here.
Yeah, it's pouring on that phone.
I had to fill up.
That's awesome. What's that one? What's that beer?
That took one beer.
It's impressive.
That rant.
You're a drinker.
You know what? When I'm not talking,
drink?
it's a lot easier. It's still the Jukebox Hero.
Why does that look so dark?
Because it is.
Oh, okay.
It's a.
That's good.
It's a Black India Pale Ale.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
oh,
it's delicious.
Okay, that's awesome.
I'd bring you some, but I'm going to be all out of them very soon.
Yeah, you drink them up.
Beef, you got anything for us tonight?
I don't have any banter. That's my banter.
Just wanted to talk about.
Nope, that's it. I want to
TA.
Just TA, baby. Let's move it along.
Love saving all his hot takes for the Jus Monday nights at 6 p.m.
Tom Fornelli's joining me this week. That's my white whale, shit. Italian whale, whatever.
My white Italian whale. Big polka guy. That Tom Fornelli.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I think we do need to get a little bit of house cleaning out of the way before we get into the next stuff. Is that I mentioned we're going to be doing the Team Mexico versus Team USA. I'm sorry, Team Mexico beating the shit out of Team USA. I think it's March 12th with the guys from Sox Machine on playback. We'll be doing that. We are looking to do a playback this Saturday for the spring training game that's going to be on NBC Sports Chicago. So we're going to be doing a playback for that, assuming playback can do it. But it sounds like they should be able to. So we'll be doing that. And then for my Star Wars geeks in the audience, The Mandalorian comes back on March 1st, and Josh Nelson and I will be doing From a Southside Point of View once again. So we will be doing those live. Probably, I'm gonna guess a similar cadence to like we did to Andor, where it was this Saturday morning. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it's gonna lead into the season, so we'll see what days we're available for that. And how drunk I am for that. Well, beautiful. You never know. MSS.
I don't know what you just said. Yeah.
Pay me some bills.
Let's do this. Did you know that February is the best month to buy a new or used Mazda from Mazda of Orland Park? Oh, you didn't? Oh, well, it's true. An all-new Mazda CX-5 is top of the line when it comes to luxury. The CX-5 comes standard with all the bells and whistles you can imagine, featuring all-wheel drive, 17-inch aluminum rims, and rain-sensing windshield wipers. I mean, that's amazing. All new cars feature 60-month, 60,000-mile powertrain warranties and a 36-month, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus 24-hour roadside assistance. You get into trouble, they'll pick you up. Want to know more? Well, head on over to www.mazdaoforlandpark.com and browse their online inventory. Right now, they have 122 new and used Mazda certified used vehicles for sale. And while you are there, you can also request more information about specific vehicles, value your trade, or inquire about financing. Whether you're from the Chicagoland area, Northwest Indiana, or Southwest Wisconsin, or Southeast Wisconsin, rather, don't want to go into Southwest. They would love to have you visit and test drive a Mazda today. Mazda of Orland Park, home of the Zoom Zoom Nation, 8910 West 159th Street, Orland Park, 708-444-3200. Zoom Zoom.
All right.
Ooh, oh, man, you're using that again. All right.
Love it.
It is back.
And this one, I think,
we got a really
generally
nice one.
Positive for this first topic tonight. We
sure?
I think, we're a little late to the party because it happened kind of, after our podcast had already happened. So Elvis Andrus signs with the White Sox. He's back. He's back on the team.
He is back.
And my first question to you guys, what were your initial thoughts about it? You know mine. I wrote a blog about it. And
you did.
But
you beat me to it, Trezo.
MSS, what were your initial thoughts on the Elvis Andrus pickup?
My initial thoughts in sound effect form. Yeah, baby. Like half-mast, baby. Okay. I'm not the numbers guy in the group, and you guys know that.
No, you're not.
I thought was like, hey, we have a legit Major League Baseball player that's going to play second base, like a tested and tried, true or whatever the fuck. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Guy that's going to come in and play second base is going to be fucking great. So that's nice, right? And if Timmy gets hurt, we know what he's going to do. Now, I was like, okay, I got to go and I got to look up some stuff and I got to see what is this guy actually is good, because every time people bring up Elvis Andrus, especially when we do in our group chat, it's like, hopefully he doesn't go back to being Elvis Andrus. Last year, with his numbers, if he had played for the Sox and got all his hits, all his homers, all whatever, with the White Sox, he would have been tied with Vaughn with 17 homers to lead the White Sox last year. He hit 17 home runs. Okay, that's a lot of power on a team that was desperately lacking power last year. So that's good. Now we're looking at him as an added benefit, right? This is like getting MLB subscription with your season tickets. Okay, it's just something more that you can have. All right, that's one thing. Now he also would have been tied with Andrew Vaughn with the most hits on the 2022 squad with 134. Now this is fucking insane, and I think that's like third best on the team or fourth best on the team. I mean, it's something ridiculous. So Elvis Andrus, like initially, I'm happy that he's a fucking major league player going to play the position, but also he has some stats that back it up, and I don't think he's as bad as everybody thinks he is. So why it took the White Sox this long to sign him, I don't know. I mean, they were trying to like work him down and money wise, I'm not sure, but you guys tell me.
I think it's because no one else wanted to sign him.
Man, I don't know why, though.
Let me get on this, but let's get into some drinks. But I want to jump in on this in a second here, Treasy.
Oh, damn.
Senor Sock says MSS for Mayor of Chicago.
Okay,
I couldn't agree more.
I'm in.
Cheers.
And then our guy, Little Yumper, says, just hit my parlay. So that's a good time to give a tip. Hit the parlay.
Thanks, man.
You give a little tip. Appreciate it.
Great show last Saturday over at the Wiener Circle.
That was a lot of fun. Great night out.
The bums.
Terrific night out. I should have talked about that a little earlier. When I saw the Elvis Andrews thing, I started marinating on it, Treasy. I thought I was going to write the blog in the morning, and then you churned out the blog. I was like, great. Treasy's got it. It's in there. But my mind kept going. I was like, okay. So Elvis Andrews waited the entire offseason, right? He came off a good year that MSS just detailed right there. That's a very good year for Elvis Andrews or for any shortstop. That was a good year. He waits the entire offseason, weighs all his options, ends up signing with the White Sox for 1 year, $3 million to play a position he's never played since he's been in the major league. 0 innings he has ever logged. And I'm supposed to be thrilled about this. To me, it's a very mass sign, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot. But here's a list of shortstops, according to Roster Resource, that have a starting job somewhere else. The teams chose not to give Elvis Andrews 1 year and $3 million instead of them. Joey Wendell, Luis Renfigno, Kike Hernandez, Oswaldo Perez, Nick Allen, Nick Ahmed, Vaughn Grissom, Kevin Newman, Ezekiel Tovar, and Mike Adriano.
So
okay, maybe Mike Adriano's not a shortstop, but
I don't know who these people are.
Caught that.
Shout out K-Dog. Regardless, he couldn't unseat any of those guys. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Thank you, Father Joe. I'll be honest with you, boys.
I'll bring that back so you can't wear it out. I can't wear it out.
Boys, I'll be honest with you. I would have rather spent $3 million to bring Vinny Velo back, or I would have rather splurge and get Adam Duvall, because I think the team really needs a starting pitcher more or a fourth outfielder more than they could use Elvis Andrews. And so it's fine. I got no problem with it, but I'm not excited about it.
I got enough trouble keeping MSS on point. You can't be jumping ahead into others. All right,
just teasing it.
We're gonna get to that stuff, but no beef. I will slightly disagree with you here.
Okay.
Nice. All right.
I think a lot of those guys were already locked into a contract or incumbents they're probably at the point where there's like, well, this would be at shortstop, probably the same or marginal improvement. We don't have the roster space to do this. I mean, and some of the shitty teams.
You're making my point here.
Does he want to go and compete for a starting job on a shitty team? Probably not. So he's waiting out the market. The market did not bear any fruit for him.
It didn't want
he took a job where it's kind of like Johnny Cueto, where it's like he wanted to go in as a starter on a team, and this is the path that
those hits sometimes. Johnny Cueto was a miracle. They usually don't hit, but sometimes they do. You know?
The thing that I like is that what I'm getting, which is a very good defender. He's an above average guy at shortstop. He hasn't played second base, but we've seen plenty of guys move from shortstop to second base. That's not the same transition as the opposite.
True, that's true.
You're in a world that's post shift, and that's something that I wrote about not too long ago. There's some guys that are going to be very questionable at second base, and the Sox were taking the position of, we don't want any of those guys. We'd rather go in-house for this. They eventually land on Andrews, who's a shortstop by trade. The defense should be there, and I think that's one important thing. The other important thing to me is that he's another guy who could add some stolen bases. I'm going to disagree with you, MSS, as well.
Yes, go ahead.
Like the hitting, I don't believe it.
Okay. All right, I don't either.
And the reason
the market doesn't either, apparently, because 1 year, $3 million is all it bared.
The reason I don't is because it's been missing for years, and I know he's blaming on an injury, but the injury was in 2018.
Right.
And like, it takes
that's quite a narrative.
If it takes you like 4 years to heal from that, to get back to normal, like, I don't know that I want you playing 150 games, because that's maybe not. You're not the best at healing.
Treasy, let me shove back for a second. You made a point. I'll let you go after this, MSS. You made a point about bringing up the second baseman too. I should have looked at the second baseman that aren't shit that he probably could have replaced for a better price than that on some team. So that's even more spots that everyone passed on him. Basically, I listed you 10 shortstops, so a third of the league said no without even looking at the second baseman. That's a lot of the league saying, you're not even worth putting on the team kind of at all here. And realistically, you know,
how many
Andrews
solid position. You're going to spend $3 million on anything though right now.
Like, this shitty one did here. Well, shitty one spent $3 million.
Listen, here's one thing that the White Sox have done decently. Okay, is they have identified Johnny Cueto, who was grossly underestimated on an open market. And I feel like they've done it again with Elvis Andrus. Now, maybe it doesn't work out. Treasy, I'm not having him come in here, and I don't want him to be the second leading hitter on this fucking team. I don't want him to be tied for the second most home runs on the team. I need him to contribute 15, and hopefully be the fourth, person.
I don't mind you saying he's going to come in and hit better than Romy Gonzalez would have hit. And because that is a fair point. I think that's true. But counting on him for double-digit home runs, it might come with a 200 batting average. Like that's the thing. He hasn't gotten on base in a long time. Let's get a drink here, boys. Dougie Fresh says Beef making his point with a dirty martini in one hand has all the 2023 vibes. Thank you, Dougie. Love you. Dougie's crushing the 108 weight loss. The guy is absolutely a monster. Love it, Dougie. You're the best. Love you.
He's my protege. That's all I have to say.
Steve says, y'all really want Romy, Berger, Lenine instead? No one said that.
Nope, not a single person said that.
We just said you didn't replace it with a great player.
It's just a guy. You put another bench piece on the team, basically. That's fine.
And I'm fine with it because it is an improvement.
Yeah,
Benintendi is going to be another guy that's going to get these little hits, right? I think Elvis Andrus is another guy that's going to get these little hits. I just believe it. I know you guys aren't sold on him, and that's fine.
Benintendi's a far better hitter.
Yeah, much better. Much better.
Oh my God. Teresi, he's the highest paid free agent the White Sox have ever signed. So obviously he's a better hitter than Elvis Andrus, who everyone passed on except for us again. Now, this is another smartest man in the room thing. So we're going to take it. I'm going to take it. We're just going to roll with it. Okay?
So
what's the next thing?
Give me a home run number on Elvis Andrus, and we'll record this. And if you are right, me and Beef got to eat shit. Not actually.
All right. So
we're not going to eat cat poop.
He hit 17 last year. He hit 9. Hit it 9 with the Sox. I'm going to go conservatively. I'm going to say 13. I'm going to say 13 home runs next year.
I think that's a reasonable number.
I'll gladly take the under.
You'll take the under?
I'll take the under. Yes, I'd happily take the under.
Beef. The only reason I would go with the number like that is because with the A's last year.
Yeah.
In the half season or a little over a half season he had with the A's, he did have 20 something doubles, right? So I looked at the batted ball data, Treasy, in detail. When Elvis
on the ground, when Elvis lifts the ball, when he manages to lift the ball, he'll get some home runs and doubles. The problem is the ground ball rates are generally really high for him. He's only had a couple years. I think it was maybe 17, and then last year where he had reasonable fly ball rates, and he was able to do it. So I'm just questioning whether or not he'll be able to repeat what he's rarely done. If he gets the ball in the area, he's got enough pop to get it out of the ballpark.
Rarely done.
16 and 17.
14 years in the league. I'm at 2
really
seasons.
16 and 17.
16 and 17. He's a real good hitter.
Beef's
we're getting to the concerns next.
Is with the
now we're going to get to the concerns.
with the bouncy ball in 2019. Same OPS as with the shitty ball 2022.
Yeah.
So maybe what if he's unaffected by the shitty ball?
I think he kind of might be. I think he kind of might be, and it's all just if he can lift at all. If he's in a position where he can get pitches to lift. And if he can be in good shape.
MSS right on the home run over. Book it. I'm betting on it. I'm going to points bet I'm asking for.
Exactly.
All right. Now let's talk about the concerns that Beef talked only about.
Already talked
and
about.
his
initial thoughts and concerns were exactly the same.
That wasn't a concern. That was just a measure of the market. Yeah.
Tell us that you're more concerned about something here.
He has more concerns. Those are just initial concerns.
Let's just talk about performance or expectations for Elvis, which I led in nicely with the 13 home runs. Yes. So last year, the White Sox got out of Josh Harrison, they got a 94 OPS plus at second base and 1.4 BWAR and 425 plate appearances. Do we think Elvis is going to do better than that? Now, mind you, Elvis's career OPS plus is 87. I saw people putting in the comments. His 4th best season of his career was a 94 OPS plus, which would have been basically last year's Josh Harrison's number. Do you think he can do that? Do you buy the narrative that we already talked about, Treasy, with the elbow, that it took 5 years to heal? Or do you kind of think, like, as a second base fit, he's not as good? Like, I saw in the comments, people were bringing up the real value here, and I think you mentioned it too, Treasy, is being able to back up Tim competently. Like, if he has to play for 6 weeks for Tim, he's really valuable.
Stop.
However,
head, you prick.
Sorry about that.
Impact.
No, it's
Let's
fine.
just
It's
move
fine.
right on.
But you're right. I mean, like, if there's a thing to be worried, well, there's 2 things to be worried about, in my opinion, which is he's not young.
No.
Right? This is
Age
not a
is the
young
number
man.
one.
Right?
No.
I mean, like, that's a concern, because you're looking at a team that has had trouble staying healthy, and now you're bringing in a 34-year-old to go, like, this is going to be the fresh body on the team. And then, but the hitting is the biggest concern, because you don't know if it's going to be there or not. 94 OPS plus speed. Yeah. No projections are saying he's going to have that. So, like, I mean, like, they're all putting him in the 80s. They're putting him like high 80s. So, like, so yeah, that's the concern. That's the biggest concern, and that is what they're betting on. And they're able to bet on that because the guys that were going to be there were even bigger risks. Now, I will say Lenyn Sosa might be a higher reward for the risk that you're taking, right? There's a higher possible reward, but it's a big downside, right? Like, this is like, you know how you always have that friend who, when he gets drunk, he could be like the best time ever, or he's going to get you in a fight with 30 people. Like, that's
his name is Polish with extra onions. That's right.
Exactly. That is Lenyn Sosa's 2023 season, right? It's either going to be, it's going to be feast or famine. Like, he's either going to come out and be like, the guy strikes out all the time, or he's going to hit 20 home runs. And so the Sox are choosing not to take that risk, take a less risky option with a higher floor, lower ceiling, and it's 34. The problem is the high floor is worse than what we got out of Josh Harrison. So, like, we need to be prepared for that. And Harrison's a good second baseman too. So it's not like the defense is that much of an upgrade. The
defense you already knew was good. So Elvis is going to have to get to that point. Now, mind you, he was a shortstop. But there's an adjustment to do it, right? So he'll eventually get there, assuming age doesn't catch up. But you got to still learn it. He's played it. Jerry O'Sullivan, thank you for the drink. He said, "Are you guys considered that last year's team overachieved to get to 500, and the projections might be right this year?" Yeah, no, that's a reasonable thought, Jerry. In fact, I talked to NWI Steve on the Arjou about it, and we were talking about how our mental models still have that team and their upsides in our heads, and not kind of what they've shown in the last 3 years. And this is something you've been talking about, MSS, like what they've done is what they've done, and kind of like we can't go back 3 years and say, "Oh, before we knew they would do this, they're going to be stars." Yeah, exactly. You can't do that anymore. You know, and we're doing it too much.
And I've heard it like said more intelligently by other people, right? Like, projections are based on prior performances, and prior performances from this team have sucked dick. Like, I mean, there's no other way to say it. Like, it's just not there. When Elvis Andrus, who is a scrap heap pickup, has more home runs than Luis Robert on the Chicago White Sox, there's a fucking problem. Okay, when Yoan Moncada is not hitting home runs and not doing as well as Elvis Andrus, there's a fucking problem. So, like, this is where it gets hairy, and this is where it's hard for Sox fans, because yes, we were promised a Rose Garden, and fucking we're not getting it. It's a fucking field right now, and we're hoping that something comes up. We planted them fucking seeds. We're hoping that the crops come through. They might not. I don't know. And but we cannot continually hang our hats on this guy's going to be really good, because I don't know if he's going to be good. A lot of people are like, have already turned on Moncada. Moncada sucks. He sucks. You imagine if we're saying this in 3 years about fucking Luis Robert, 2 years about Luis Robert, because we were at the same point. We're like, this is going to be horrible. Like, this is going to be totally fucking horrible. But, like, honestly, I mean, it's just what it is, dude. I mean, I feel bad, saying shit like that, but it's just kind of the way it is. The concerns, my only concerns I have is that maybe his leg falls off because he's going to be 35. Like that's like my biggest concern.
It's a valid one.
With him because of his age. And as far as I can tell, he played 150 some games last year. I think that's right. I think that's
he typically does.
So
and
it's pretty durable. Yeah.
The thing is though, like that's part of the concern, and we'll jump into the next part, because like the 150 games for the past few years haven't been good, and like so you're stretching a guy thinner and thinner as he gets older and older, and the impact that we got to talk about the impact that he has on this roster. And I think one of the main things is what we talked about a few times already, is that he is a competent backup for Timmy. Timmy averages about 120 games a year. So he's going to have to play shortstop a lot, right? Like he's like you could pencil in Elvis Andrus for 15 games at shortstop without even thinking about it. Like
even if Tim's perfectly healthy,
he has to play that many, even if Timmy's healthy, right? Like so now you're talking about this guy being your shortstop too, like so like he's going to have. But this is to me one of the big positives here, right? Because what you were looking at prior to that was, let's say Lenyn Sosa makes the team, right? And we do have like, okay, that's going good. Then that means Lurie is your backup at shortstop. Your only backup at shortstop, really, because Lenyn could fake it, but like he's not a shortstop. And then if Romy makes the team, then Romy's at short when Timmy needs a day off, right? And like I don't love that either, right? Like so, if I'm looking at the team's construction and I see, man, Tim needs a day off, or man, Tim's hammy's barking, he needs 3-4 days in a row off, I'm a lot less stressed out looking at Elvis Andrus at shortstop. But at the same time, we're putting a lot on this guy. This guy that we signed 4 minutes before the season. Like, so that's again a concern. But
thank you, Father Zoe. He says it's Luis Robert Jr. Damn it, MSS.
Cheers.
Yeah, we know. So.
Also, that was another concern, kind of too, is like that it took so long for him to get signed, and they were right on starting pitcher number 5. So it's like if he had a really good feeling, and like you're hearing things like, hey, Romy Gonzalez is having the best spring training ever. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. And then 2 days later, you're signing somebody that you've just been waiting out on. Like, I don't know, like, but we've never accused Rick Hahn of making incredibly smart decisions recently. So it's like maybe him not going with his gut in this case will benefit us. Maybe they won't.
Well, I will tell you, like, I like the impact that this has on the roster. So like as I was mentioning about him being able to back up at shortstop, and I think he's a better backup at shortstop than anything we had. There was no better option on the 40-man, and even lower.
Right.
So
yes. Mm-hmm.
So that I like. I also like that we're not forcing Lenyn Sosa into a very difficult situation. Like that shouldn't be what, like, he shouldn't have to come up and perform. Yeah. Like, think about what we're doing to Oscar Colas right now, right? Oscar Colas is being put in a position where he has to perform. Like, he has to be the right fielder that we've been looking for like 5 years, right? Like, he has to be. There's no choice. Like, there's no one else. So you were putting Lenyn Sosa in that position. You're not anymore. You're letting Lenyn Sosa probably play at Charlotte, and when he's needed, he could come up. Yeah. And if he doesn't perform, it's a lot less of a pressure situation for him. So I really like that about this move. I also think it's ridiculous that they're like, oh, Romy's going to compete with Lurie for this spot. They're just being nice to Romy because he thought he was competing for second base, and then they're like, no, you're not.
I disagree. I disagree strongly, and I think that the best way, Teresi, that this roster shakes out is if they go to spring training and Romy Gonzalez takes all that work he did with Mike Tosar in the group and absolutely smashes and wins the starting job at second. Because then this roster fills out so nicely with, like, if you think to yourself, okay, we got a guy at second, one of our guys popped, and we think we can really start him, and Elvis Andrus is your first guy off the bench, beautiful. He can fill in at third, I'm sure, too, if Moncada needs a day. Short and second, right? You got competence at all those spots. Strong enough bat where you're like, I'm not worried about him collapsing like Lurie collapsed last year, right? We're worried the bat might be weak, but I don't think it'll be that weak. He should probably still be able to hit lefties. Like, he runs well, right? So as a weapon off the bench, he like I like him a lot better if he's in that fifth out infielder spot.
You agree that the Sox are lying. You just think it's a different lie.
I think it's a different lie.
He's actually allowed to compete for second base here.
I do.
And it's Lurie's job that is the most safe.
I don't know if Lurie's job is safe or not. I mean, they're like spoke over how they're like, well, everyone's competing or whatever. I think there is a world in which Lurie Garcia doesn't finish the season with the White Sox, but I'd be shocked if he doesn't break camp with the team. I think he'll make it to Chicago or to Houston to start the year. But I think your best case scenario is now that you got the insurance. See, I looked at it as insurance the whole time, Teresi. A lot of people were like, man, we got a good major league starting player here. And I thought, we got some insurance for this fucking roster is what it looks like to me, just in case something goes wrong. If one of your guys pops, that insurance gets so much more valuable, man, because we don't got to break it out of the glass right away. We can use it opportunistically. That would be beautiful.
Sure, but what you're counting on is Roman Gonzalez popping, and like it
could be Lenny Sosa, him too. I mean, you got a couple options there.
So I guess that's a different question, right? Yeah. And then this goes into how this impacts the roster. Do you think if Lenny Sosa has a tremendous Jacob May-esque spring training that he makes the team at this point? Or do you think that he starts in the minors just because of the way that they filled out the roster?
I mean, I'm hoping that they're willing to go with it. I'm hoping that they're willing to gamble because they're a team whose projections are around 500. You got to take some fucking risks here. And if this kid looks like he's hitting the hell out of the ball, let Lenny Sosa start at second. And you have Elvis as a caddy. Lenny Sosa's got options. Let him play every day and see what happens. Like, what? I don't want to look at the roster as just like we're desperate for tired old guy that we got to bring in 6 minutes before the season starts to save the day. Like, it should be more like this is some optionality for us. If everything goes wrong with the guys that we think could pop, great. We got this guy who could fill in. He's not a second baseman by trade, but he should be solid enough, right? Well, that's a good planning, right? But it's not something I was excited about initially. I will be excited though if one of these second basemen pops. And you can slide Elvis to the bench, and he can be that fifth infielder. That'd be tremendous.
At the end of the day, I think we're saying similar things in a different way. Is that we've created some depth here. Like the Sox have created some depth, and like it's great to have a conversation of like which of these players that I think are competent players can play second base for the White Sox, as opposed to going, holy shit, what are we gonna do here? And that's what we're gonna get into now.
Yes.
Because the starting pitching depth, oh baby, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. So let's just lay out what we've got right now. So we've got the top three are kind of solid in where they're going to be to start the season. So it's Dylan Cease. It was near Cy Young last year.
Cease.
We'll just leave that alone. Lance Lynn. Big bastard. He's up there. Lucas Giolito.
Sweaty. Looks good.
All good.
Skinnier.
We're hoping for the bounce back.
Yep.
Then Michael Kopech, which was there's some question marks there, right? Like, how far along is he? Is he going to be ready to go? I'm wishing for the best for him. I love Michael Kopech. I hope he just crushes it. And then we have starting pitcher 5.
Yep.
Who
5.
Let's imagine that for some reason, I don't know why it would happen, but let's say he were suspended or something like that.
That doesn't come north,
Then we've got to look to the next guys on the roster, right? And I think after last year, I think we've got a little bit of confidence in Davis Martin. I don't know if you guys agree, but like I think that like he showed some stuff. He showed
especially that after they said that the injury is a nothing because MSS and I were in the ballpark and it didn't look good, and he had to come out of the game in the second inning. Like I was a little nervous.
So he's at the back of the rotation, and you're comfortable with that, right? Now,
comfortable-ish,
as you know,
agree MSS.
As you know, things happen. Mm-hmm. People get hurt. People get even minor injuries. They get banged up, and they need to miss starts. We go on the IL for 2-3 weeks. Then what we get into is some combination of Sean Burke, AJ Alexi, and Jonathan Stever.
I'm pretty sure Sean Burke is in the comments right now.
I didn't realize. Stever was still on the roster. Like I was surprised to see that he was there, but he's on the 40 in fact. So like those are the three guys. After that, there's not really anything else after that. So what I want to do tonight is I see the comments are already on. The comments are already on what I'm going to be asking for, which is let's get creative, guys. Let's find some ways to create starting pitching depth. I mean, and it could be anything. It could be go out and sign someone who's still out there. Go out and sign someone who's retired. Go get Papa from Ghost. He looked good out on the mound. Wally Money, he's on the table, right? Cash considerations could come in.
Little out of shape, but yeah,
it
could be.
As long as he doesn't have any shellfish before he
give me
pitches,
some
he'll be
ideas.
fine.
If we're in a situation where we have to go past Davis Martin, and Beef, I'll start with you. Give me an out of the box solution for we're going past Davis Martin. What are we going to do?
Sounds good, Treasy. Now, just going to warn you, I got a list of 10. So do you want me to just give you one right now or whatever? Because I had to spray all fields to get this kind of down in my mentions.
Let's go each one around.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, Beef, I'm just going to hand it off to you after that.
Beautiful.
You go nuts.
So I'll start. My first one, Treasy, I think you're going to like this one. Lure Tim Wakefield out of retirement. He got the knuckleball. He's in his 50s, but I think he still got some innings in him.
I was thinking knuckleball.
Not as bad.
I was thinking knuckleball. I was like trying to look around to see if there's anyone in the like still hanging around relievers that was a knuckleballer, because they give me you can give me
Charlie
3 innings.
Just show up and go out there and throw it.
Yeah, he's not going to get tired.
Is it Charlie Huff or Charlie Hugh?
Charlie Huff.
Charlie
Huff is right.
Because he was like, what, 72 when he pitched for the
Yeah,
Sox?
he was. He was in
90s?
his late 40s. Dale, thank you for the drink. Bless you, my friend.
I mean, he looked older than Chirizi, and that's saying something.
Allegedly. Yeah.
He aged a lot like me. It was a very, very good looking man.
Heroin, cocaine, electronica. That's what it'll do to a man.
MSS. Give me an idea here.
Okay, so here's my first immediate idea when it came up, and the Sox have done this before, so it's not even really that outside of the box. They did it back in August in 1978 when a man named Kevin Hickey attended an open tryout held by the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, I love
Hickey was recruited after a staffer saw him playing 16-inch softball for the Bobcats at Kelly Park. He was the only player out of 250 people to receive a contract, signing a minor league deal for $500 a month. Oh my God! So after his retirement, he went and did other stuff. He legit played league baseball, and he was found playing 16-inch in Kelly Park in the South Side of Chicago. You know how ridiculous this is now. And now people are going to say, oh, yeah, but who knows 16-inch? We know a guy that knows every 16-inch player that's played in the last 7 decades in the city of Chicago. Yes. Between him and his father, the legends, the Balestris over there, Slim Mix, the Big Mix, the Slim Mix. We got everything going here. These guys can spot talent. They can identify talent. We can get somebody. If there's somebody out there to be had, we can fucking do it. Okay, so open tryouts is my number one solution to the problem that we have facing starting pitching.
I love it. What an idea!
I love it. I can't get enough of this idea, actually. And I saw it in the comments. Someone asked about Esteban Loaiza and someone asked about Don Paul. I believe they're working out together.
Allegedly.
So hey, I got one more little thing to add about Kevin Hickey, and rest in peace, Kevin Hickey. He went to St. Rita, shout out Zoe, and then was kicked off the team because of excessive truancy. Now, where did he go to high school next? Thomas Kelly High School. I literally thought Bearstown Gabe was the biggest celebrity ever to come out of Thomas Kelly High School. He is the second biggest one.
He's number 2.
Kevin Hickey is number 1. Gabe Bearstown Silva is number 2. So good job, Gabe.
I like that. Legends. I mean, I feel like I'm being too serious with mine. What I have here.
So Teresi, what's your first outside the box idea?
Well, so I was thinking about this because the Sox have never been that creative with moving people between the IL and not, or between the minor leagues and the major leagues. And in May, we're going to get, at some point, Garrett Crochet back.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking was you'd bring up, let's say you bring up Sean, like you need this fifth starter. You bring up Sean Burke. You let Crochet go a few innings to start the game. You then put in Burke to take a couple more innings. After that game, you send Burke down. Now, you can't bring him up for, I think, another 10 days, which means for the next start, it would be Crochet and, let's say, AJ Alexi, right? And you do this kind of rotation because you want to bring up another reliever so that Crochet doesn't have to pitch in relief as much, so that you can use him in this kind of specific role. You maybe use him one more time a week in like a high leverage situation. Yep. And then you have this rotation of these bad, well, I don't want to call them bad, these inexperienced starting pitchers that have to come up and pitch, but you're only putting the pressure on them to pitch like 2 or 3 innings. And then you're giving some of the other load to Garrett Crochet. And then someone like Gregory Santos is coming up to be a reliever. And then, you know, who else did we get? Padilla. Like these guys are kind of flipping around to fill in that other spot in the relief area.
Franklin German.
Oh yes, thank you. So that you can keep that going. So that's kind of like my out of the box idea to fake a fifth starter when we need one.
Openers and piggybacks. I like it.
It could turn into something where like. Here's the upside of it. Garrett Crochet continues to build up, and like by the end of the year, he's just the fifth starter.
Yeah, it can be beautiful. Mike Press, thank you very much. He says, hire Jim Essian. There's a deep cut.
All right, Beef. I want you to. MSS, you got any more that you want to do?
I have one after this, but go ahead.
No, give us another one. I'm going to let Beef roll. We're gonna get 10 minutes of straight beef. We don't get enough of it at the au jus. We need 10 more minutes.
Right. It won't be 10 minutes, but it's 9 more ideas.
Take a break and go cry in the corner about Illinois getting curb stomped by Northwestern right now. They're the real deal, folks. Till it comes to tourney time, they're probably going to take a big shit, and everyone's going to be. Bill Murray's going to come back and start cheering for the fucking Wildcats, and then all of a sudden they're going to get stomped. That's okay. Sorry, Dave. Yeah, like you watch us. Anyway, this is what we need to do. When a business is looking for help and they need somebody to come in and help out, you put a sign. We need a big old sign. We're outside of Camelback Ranch. This says help wanted, pitchers needed. Come on in. You know, cut your hair. We don't care. We just need you to come in, throw off the mound, see what happens. So that's I'm saying that's
a help wanted sign. Like so right now they've been for some reason they've had up the sign no hiring on location.
Yep.
Right? Like they have that sign up right now. You should get rid of that sign. Help wanted.
Dump it. Yep.
Help wanted. We just need help wanted, you know, for the pitching.
I can't believe you didn't get the casting couch ready for the pitching. I mean, this is such a miss by you. How the hell can you miss?
I do like that he clarified that long-haired freaky people are allowed.
They are allowed.
Maybe that's what he meant. I missed it. It went right over my head.
I mean, I was going to work in more to the Tesla. But no, I think that listen, Sox have had like marginal success, like signing people that are total trash. That's why the Elvis thing isn't like the worst idea to me, because for some reason they can turn these people around. They're identifying really bottom of the barrel talent, or like there's still some talent in the bottom of that barrel. So why not just do it with the pitching staff?
This is like recency bias, though. Like just because it just happened, because there was like 10 years where they couldn't fucking sign a free agent that was worth a shit. I think it's more recency bias.
Loaf, I would argue that they weren't trying to sign anybody then. They
just paid them, but they're like, we don't want you to be good. We'd like you to be bad.
They were up in their fields and were just giving people money and thinking that they were just going to do it. Like just
now
though,
they're on.
Okay, exactly.
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
What about you, Chirizi? Is there another idea that you have?
The only other idea I had was to sign every discarded pitcher from the Twins. So we get Chris Archer, Michael Pena, Dylan Bundy all into camp.
That will probably happen, actually. That's got a good chance of happening.
I mean, I think we have the very similar idea.
No one knows how to win like the Twins. So I'm going for all of their starting pitching factory. It did so well. Beef. Give me the list.
All right, I'm going to go on mute.
Lay it on us.
I'll lay it on you. Okay, when you're losing, throw in the towel and try to lose extra big so you can bring a position player in the pitch, someone like Larry Garcia. You can get some usage out of him on the bench. If you're down by like 3 or 4 already, just lob it in there. Let them get way the fuck ahead of you so you can save all your pitchers for the next day, okay? Lose as many road games as possible so you never have to pitch the ninth inning. Teresa, if we chip that ninth inning off every time we're on the road, we save some of the pitchers.
That's a lot of innings saved.
That's a lot of innings saved, right? Okay. The White Sox have been accused of this before. Override the pitch clock when our side is pitching only and allow for a couple extra seconds. That refractory period, especially for men our age, is super valuable, okay? You need a little extra refractory period so we can really give it our all right? So, Lance Lynn would benefit greatly from that. We'll have Rick Hahn use his lawyer skills to get the Pirates in trouble for tampering so they could re-sign Vinny Velo for $3 million. How about that? Now we get a long man back because we missed on Vinny Velo.
He's a Pirate, right?
Yeah, that's what. So we're gonna get him out of there. We'll have Rick Hahn use his lawyer skills to call tampering on the Pirates. The contract gets broken, we get him. Then we can scoop him back up.
Sorry,
you were talking about
Violet Myers.
Can you just stop talking? I'm going right now. We talked about earlier, Treasy. Michael Kopech concerned about his innings, right? Thank you. Hire a Michael Kopech impersonator so that when he's gassed after 5 innings, we could throw the impersonator in there for the 6th inning. No one's ever going to know. Remember when we were in Pony League? That one team they cheated. The kid got thrown out. His twin. They put him in the same jersey and they tried to play him. And it's like that's
You're muted,
hold on. Let me give the background of this story. Okay. This is a good story. So there was a team and there was twins on the team. Now one was a really good pitcher and the other was a fine player, but it was not a good pitcher.
Yeah.
And so the pitcher gets thrown out of the game, goes in the dugout, switches jerseys with his brother, comes out and pitches as his brother. And we're like, "Wow, that's the same guy."
Bullshit. Yes. That's some ladybug shit. Yeah, it is some ladybug shit. I would agree with that. Next up, assign Gavin Sheets the responsibility to get into a fight with the opposing team's pitcher in the 1st inning. Okay, we can probably only use this about once or twice a month, but if he can knock out this other team's starter, we could get a blowout and we could kind of save our pitchers. Okay. Next up, intentionally have Gene Honda finally get some use out of this useless guy. Yo, Noonan over the loudspeaker doing a crucial pitch in the 4th inning to give us a little extra leverage there, Treasy. Like we could kind of cheat on our end so we get that key out there.
I like that multiple of your ideas are not about our pitchers, but about how to hurt the other pitchers.
Well, you got to think about it all ways. That one was for us, though. That one was for we got our pitcher up. We're going to make sure we get that strikeout at the batter. We're yelling Noonan so the batter doesn't get it. One thing we could do is we could switch in the deader 2020 baseballs when we're pitching. Kind of like in the NFL, they throw the K ball in there when they kick. We have the pitch ball, and it's the sawdust ball from last year that no one could hit the fuck out of the ballpark. Then we do the switcheroo, and we get the normal balls back in after that. Last one, and this is one that Treasy and I have been talking about for years. We're going to get Obama's weather machine in to create some moisture while we're pitching, so it deadens the fly balls, and then the weather machine takes it back out, dries it out, and when we're hitting, we can hit home runs. So it's going to protect our pitchers.
I hear they're going to store that as library, so we're good. So they're going to have it right over there.
It's close.
Hyde Park.
Well-timed rain delays to not have your 5th pitcher ever throw. You could just do it that way too.
Could do that.
Yeah, the problem is you eventually have to make the games up. Otherwise, you're like 100.
When it comes to a doubleheader, we have to bring up like a Sean Burke, but they also do, right? Like so. So I kind of like this. I kind of like the forced rain out. We get Crash Davis in. He could work on this too. There's a lot of people that know about forcing a rain out. Maybe Kevin Costner. The real rain out.
Exactly right.
That's a deep cut too.
I mean,
that's good.
That's in that movie for a reason. But
we had an interview on, and the person did not deny it. Former Oriole, not saying who it was.
Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of creative ideas. All right, and at the end of the day, the Sox are going to have to get creative. Because, and I saw someone in the comments mention this too of Jimmy Lambert. And Jimmy Lambert is, he's a failed starting pitcher. He's a very good reliever now. But that could be a guy where it's like we get a couple extra innings out of him every once in a while, right? Like he throws 2 innings instead of 1 every once in a while to just eat up those innings because these innings are not going to go away. As much as Beef wants to get rid of all these 9th innings on the road, they're not going to go away.
Just a thought. We're spitballing, right?
You're going to need to find places where
in the
where
trust tree.
go. And you do have even
We were asked to make these ideas.
Even with Liam Hendricks out for probably the season, let's assume the season. We still have a pretty good bullpen, and
and it's deep too.
And man, use Jake Diekman in all the lowest leverage situations, please, and then just cut him when Crochet comes back. MSS, man, I need a favor out of you, man.
Are we ready?
Why don't you do us an ad read here?
Let's do this. Tomorrow is the first Friday of Lent, and you know what that means? Meatless Fridays for all you heathens. And guess what? Brand new 108 supporter, Lawrence's Fish and Shrimp, have 2 Jesus-approved sandwiches options that absolutely smash the fish fillet out of the ballpark. First up, their amazing crispy shrimp sandwich. This thing is huge, and you can taste the quality. They take a big handful of popcorn shrimp and lay it on a bed of coleslaw. Then they cover it with the Lawrence's special sauce, which is hot sauce and ranch, served on a fresh potato bun. It's a great sandwich that might even count as a salad if you put a little extra lettuce on it. You can even get a fresh perch sandwich at Lawrence's. This sandwich features 2 pieces of fried perch served with cheddar cheese, homemade tartar sauce, lettuce, and tomato, all on a fresh potato bun. It's a real fish sandwich. You can add fries and a pop to make it a combo. Order online or in store. Lawrence's Fish and Shrimp have 4 locations: 21st and Canal, 32nd and 87th in Chicago, 50 South Manheim Road in Hillside, and 3248 Vollmer Road in Olympia Fields. Visit them online at lawrencesfishandshrimp.com to see their menus and to place an order. And do us a favor, give them a follow on their Twitter at Lawrence's Shrimp. Lawrence's Fish and Shrimp, Chicago's favorite shrimp house since 1950.
Love it. So when we went up there last Friday, you had the shrimp sandwich, right? Yeah. That thing was huge.
It looked awesome.
I was like, what did you? I thought you got a hamburger at first when you had it wrapped, because I was like, what's going on here? You got a hamburger?
Now listen,
at Lawrence's, and then you open it up, and I was like, God damn, there
was a lot of shrimp on there. And the coleslaw was good too. But the thing that really got me was the bun. I was like, this bun tastes fresh. Like they literally they get it from a bakery somewhere. I don't know where it is, but we're gonna find out because we're on the inside now.
That's right.
But I'm gonna find out where this stuff is because it was so good. And I was looking at you guys because you guys are having the wing dings, right? You had
I was having wing zings.
Wing zings. Oh, you had shrimp? Okay,
yeah,
good. And because I was looking, I'm like, why the fuck are we having wings? Over here, they got good shrimp here. They got good.
But have you had their wings? Because they're really good.
Their wings are fucking delicious.
I mean, I'm sure the chicken.
What, they got everything that's good. I mean, I like the crispy cod lately. MS, that's been my go-to lately. I'm a big scallop guy when I go there too. You get a pound of scallops, maybe a pound of shrimp. That's how I would generally do. So.
See, that's great. I almost drove over there on Wednesday because it was Ash Wednesday. And I was like, man, I should just go get that sandwich again because it fills you.
Were you celebrating Hash Wednesday? Because I know when I do that, man.
No, you know what? I got the edible that I cut up into tenths that Gordo gave me. So every time I take one, I'm like Eddie when he gets around a microwave. I piss my pants and forget who I am. So I can't be doing that and be expected to go out and perform at life. So yeah.
Cheers, Mike. Thank you.
Mike, thanks for the drink. He says, buy a Gene Honda a carton of cigs before every game.
Mike, I've smoked many cigarettes with Gene Honda. He is a fun smoke. While you're smoking, he'll even let you borrow his Blackhawks World Championship rings because the Sox never got him a ring when the White Sox won. So a little something.
Side swipe right there.
It's kind of sad.
Hash Wednesday, everyone. Hello.
Hash Wednesday.
All right, guys. It's time for this is a beef loaf product, and I'm very. When he told me about it, I said, "Ooh, I like this idea. I like this idea that you got here." And this is who's out of pocket. Who's out of pocket is just that. We're going to talk about who's out of pocket this week.
Yes.
I'm going to go first because I'm gonna bridge this because we're still talking baseball. We're still talking pitching. In fact, we should trade for this guy because this team obviously hates him. Who's out of pocket? The Brewers are out of pocket. They took Corbin Burns to arbitration and won. And let me give you this excerpt. The Brewers defeated their ace in an arbitration hearing and will pay him $10.01 million this season instead of the $10.75 million for which he filed, a difference of $740,000. Now, Corbin Burns alleged that the club's representatives put him at the forefront of the team's failure to make the postseason in 2022. Now, let me just kind of round this out here. The Brewers traded their closer at the deadline.
Yes, they did.
Also had Corbin Burns on the team who had like a 4 or 4.5 WAR, depending on where you go. And they're blaming him for not making the playoffs. He was really good down the stretch, too. It's not like he had like a 3 ERA down the stretch. It's not like he sucked, like he blew some big games or something. The guy was good. I would love to pay him $10.75 million to be on the Sox. I would absolutely love it. They need $740,000 back. They couldn't possibly fathom paying this guy who is their best player. It's this extra 704. How dare
too
you?
much?
We're
It's too much.
We're gonna spend thousands and thousands of dollars
to fight you
and really piss you off and the rest of your teammates because we need to save. I mean, after fees, what are they saving?
Not much.
500,000?
Not much. Got all the attorneys involved and everything, and then the goodwill. I mean, you got to be losing that deal with the goodwill afterwards.
I mean,
goodwill's the worst.
If you're a
part.
fan, you got to be like, think about how we are with some of the cheap shit that the Sox do.
Yeah.
This is the cheapest shit that's happened this offseason by far. Unreal.
Jerry O'Sullivan says, "I didn't know Reinsdorf also owned the Brewers."
His buddy did.
You know what though?
Time.
He came together though with the Giolito thing. They were trying to do that shit to Giolito last year, right? It was like a $50K difference or whatever.
Yeah.
He came in and intervened and made sure that didn't happen. So as cheap as we think he is, I think he cares a little bit about the personal.
I mean, like,
relationships.
think
And
about
what's
how
the
pissed we
reason?
were
It's
about
his
that.
grandson's favorite player, right? It's like Lucas Giolito is Jerry Reinsdorf's grandson's favorite player. It's something ridiculous.
But regardless,
Right.
Giolito, I like Giolito. He didn't have a great year last year, but overall, that $50,000, we were pissed about that. We should have been pissed about that. Corbin Burns is better than him. I mean, Corbin Burns is a top 5 pitcher in the league, and you're bitching like on the open market, he's a $35-40 million pitcher, and you're like, oh my god, 10.75? No. We're gonna go to an arbiter and tell you how much you fucking suck.
Alexis is right. Bernie Brewer got to eat too.
A lot of cheese. It's got a fabulous slide. You know, you gotta keep that thing waxed.
I think what people don't think about when they talk about arbitration is what I mentioned when the way that they had to represent him is like, it's not like they're arguing over like here's his stats and here's his stats, and here's comparable stats, and we're gonna find where we should pay him. They actively have to go in there and talk about how bad you are, right? Like how much of a detriment you are to the
make a
club.
case against you,
and that's why you don't get this money. And like, why would you do that with your best player? What on earth? Like, I get it. If he went in there and said, I deserve $25 million, they'd be like, come on, no one is making that much in your position. A lot of guys are making what he's making at this point in his career, especially he won a Cy Young.
Yeah. Right. Yes, exactly. He's a stud.
He won a Cy Young and followed it up with a very good year. Like it's not like he won a Cy Young and then he pitched and then his his salary got inflated and then he had like a 5 ERA last year and they're like, oh well, we got to knock this back. No, he was really good again.
Yep. Plus he was on LA Law in Seinfeld.
Yeah, no, that drives up his value for sure.
MSS, who's out of pocket this week?
Oh man, I hate to do this, but I have to do it. And it started last week and then definitely continuing into this week. Got to call out 670 The Score for becoming the TMZ of Chicago sports coverage. I mean, they're just grasping at straws, trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, especially here with Tim Anderson. Now, I understood the Olivia Feinstein stuff. Like, yes, okay, you're giving her a chance to speak and tell her story. Yes, you need to do that. And then they said when they did this, well, listen, now Sox players might not come and talk to us. Now the Sox might not like us. They might not come on our show anymore. And that's the price we're going to have to pay to be the honest people. But then they follow it up with the Tim Anderson critiques by Loho and Layla and saying, you can't attack the media. That's our job. You still need to be fair to us and what that. Now you got to stick to your fucking principles and do what you need to do. You cannot sit here and say, okay, we want it this way for when we do things that are fun, but and go outside the box. And then when you go outside the box, we can't have that. And what I think would have been different in, maybe I went to black, who knows? I wouldn't have had to say this had Loho and Layla listened to the entire interview and maybe watched it and saw how Tim Anderson was doing it, because I think that was the key. That was the big key that they missed. They jumped on it. They pounced it. They want to make things interesting. I get it. But like it's like you're sacrificing your cred for some clicks, some low-hanging fruit. And I think highly of them. This is something that I expect on a low-rate podcast. Maybe another one that's on Thursday nights. Maybe that just comes out and it just like they maybe would latch onto some story like this to get some clicks. Not something like not the flagship sports coverage station in Chicago. So yeah, sorry, Score. You're TMZing it up. And I don't like it.
Out of pocket this week.
Went big. I like it, MSS.
Yeah, me too. Bang them.
Hey,
I still like all those guys, just so you know. But I just think
you know what though, MSS, this sets a nice precedent, right? Like talk a little shit about the Score. If they don't want to come on our shows, we could be like, you acting just like Tim.
Yeah, that's right. They denied us access. In fact, I just got my sources say the Score has denied us access of any other people. All right, so put it out there. John Greenberg, write that right now if you could. Please do that. I guess
the funniest part is I was most recently on the Score out of the three of us. So, I mean, I understand. I'm 100% biting the hand that feeds me. But yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Beef. Who's out of pocket this week?
I'll close this up with because this is from Sunday, but it's a combined out of pocket between the National Basketball Association and Karl Malone. The All-Star game was in Utah this past weekend, and I watched some of the All-Star festivities, and I even watched the game. And Karl Malone is a despicable asshole, and I think everyone knows that. If you don't know that, go to Google right now and Google Karl Malone 13 and see what pops up for you, okay? I'm not going to explain it to you. I'll let you read exactly what the hell Karl Malone has never denied that, by the way. That is some shit that actually fucking happened, okay?
Beef. Did you see his quote?
Yeah, he said, things that happened in my past I don't want to talk about. I don't care. Exactly. He has also had some despicable behavior towards Kobe Bryant's wife that got brought up in this past weekend. The NBA didn't care. They went full force. And even despite honoring halftime of the game, they're doing a special thing for LeBron and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because LeBron just got the scoring title. And who's third in scoring is Karl Malone. And they had Karl Malone up on the stage with these guys, and they kind of forced Karl Malone as part of the thing here. And it's like, dude, I understand you're in Utah, but go find Mark Eaton. You know, what the hell? Get somebody else in here. What the hell?
I don't know if he's still with us.
Is he alive?
I think he is.
Get Jeff Hornacek. Where's Jeff Hornacek? We can't get John Stockton, although he was also there, not honored, but he was there. He's got some things going on as well.
He's a weirdo,
man. You bring up the point of him being up there for that, and it's like, it's not like he was the scoring leader and then Kareem took it from him. Like,
He was never the scoring leader. No. Yeah.
So like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? The guy that came the closest to what LeBron just did. That guy don't count.
They forced him in there.
I think that you alluded
to celebrating bronze medalists here. What the fuck is going on?
Listen, I think you alluded to it, Loaf. It's Utah. There's a lot more shit on the table. You can let things happen. You know, they're like a little bit more forgiving when it comes to that kind of shit.
But it didn't happen there. It happened in Louisiana. Anyway, that's too much. I don't even want to talk about it. It's fucking disgusting. Regardless, the NBA, you should know better. And Karl Malone, just don't come. Like, come on, you know better, all right? Everyone knows you score and all that. Just stay home. You know what the hell?
Just or if he's like, oh, it's Utah. We gotta bring in Stockton and Malone. Just put them in a skybox together.
They can
Pan
wave
over once. They wave, and then you go like, oh, we accidentally put our camera on them. All right, we'll get the fuck out of here.
Maddie mentions throw Bailey available. Yeah, I was struggling and top of my head thinking of Utah Jazz players. I'm like, there's not good ones.
I mean, all I could think about is how much Michael Jordan, despite having food poisoning or being hungover or whatever the fuck, he still piped him, and I love it.
He gave him the hose.
It's his greatest accomplishment, never letting them guys win a championship.
And that team was good. Like,
there's no question.
And I remember there was an Artie Lang story that he had lightning bet the finals game, and it was the Bulls and the Jazz when they had the lowest scoring finals game in the history of the NBA finals, and he lost like $37,000 or something because it was $1,000 a point, like under a certain total.
Under the total,
he was under that, and it was like he's like, I lightning bet this one. He's like on drugs, and it was the lowest point total of an NBA final in history. So he lost his total ass to some bookie.
Good night, SPF. Take care, my friend.
MSS, the gambling story that I love from Artie and Norm is still like when they were doing like they were betting day games in hockey because their bookie didn't know that hockey teams played during the day. And they would bet it after the game was over.
Yes. And when he found out, it was Ash Wednesday because he drove to a McDonald's off the turnpike or whatever they call it out there and fucking met with them. And he had the ashes on his forehead while he's yelling, "You fucking sons of bitches! I know what you're doing, and if your friend fucking does it again, I'm gonna cut his feet off and throw him in the fucking river." But he had the Ash Wednesday thing on his forehead. I'm sorry, and this isn't good, but like heroined up Artie was the best Artie in all of the Stern stuff. I mean, it was just the best when he was drug addicted in eating like a crazy person and weighed 375 pounds. He was the best. Like, it wasn't
fat near death. Perfect.
It wasn't,
MSS, some people have said that about you. So watch it.
But yeah, MSS lost it.
Fellas, it's about that time. It's time for some thank yous or GFYs, whichever one you want to get into. And I'm going to start. I've been starting all the segments today. Why don't I
like it? You're forceful. You're forcing it in. I like it.
I got a big GFY. I'm doubling down on last week. Bovada has still not graded those two bets.
Oh my god!
I still don't know the winner. MSS drank so much Mad Dog he might not have had to, and I still don't know. Fuck you, go Bovada.
I think I'm going blind from all the Mad Dog I drank. I mean, honestly, I haven't been able to see very well.
MSS, give me your thank you or your GFY.
I'm gonna do a big thank you to the Bums and Yumper and Sfo for having us out there at Wiener Circle and bringing everybody together.
Absolutely.
Now, it's not our event. No one was like, "Hey, the 108 guys kicked ass." Blah blah blah. No, it wasn't that at all. We had an off night, but they brought together the most beautiful people from White Sox Twitter that were available that Saturday night. It was fun. It was great to meet Zombie Jackie's husband, who I said hi to him. I said it's weird to meet somebody after I've seen their ass on the internet. So it was very fun. And I also told him, I was like, hey, Jackie is one of my favorite, follows on Twitter. He's like, I get that a lot from people. And I was like, that's hilarious. Like, because it's true. And thank you to everyone that bought me drinks because my bar tab was incredibly low when I left that bar. And so I want to thank whoever was buying me drinks. It was great. I know Luke bought a few. He reminded me. But yeah, good times. What did you say, motherfucker?
I said I have no idea what my bill was, but I was just glad I had my credit card when I woke up.
I remember when Quernsey came over to me and said you guys were leaving. I looked at you. Your hair was like Big Ern McCracken when he's in the throes. And I was like, she's like, yeah, he's still awake and we're leaving. And I was like, she's like, I don't know how. And I looked at you and I was like, I don't know how he is either because like honestly, I was on Diet Coke fumes at that point. I was just
introduced me to some guy that I supposedly went to high school with, and I looked him up in the yearbook the next day. He doesn't exist. Like I think
yes, it was a lie.
He's like the that movie, that documentary, The Imposter. Like I feel like that's what it was. Like the guy was like, "Yeah, we played soccer together." I was like, "I don't know." And then
sure?
I was like, "This guy did not. I don't know who this guy is. Doesn't exist in any yearbook."
Teresa, you were mid-season form on that night, and I loved it.
That's
It reminded me why I love you so much.
I love you too, buddy. Beef. Who you thinking?
Before I close up, let's get to these last couple drinks. Little Yumper says, MSS, I don't give a shit about your health. Make me laugh. So I agree with that. 100% agreement there. And then the next drink is from Alexis Lopez. So, Alexis, thank you. Appreciate the drink.
Thank you, Alexis. Sorry about your hoodie. That's my Sex Summer's fault.
Yeah, let's blame him.
We have an extra. I'm not sending it though because it'll get stolen. So
that's a hand delivery. Let's get that done. My thank you is going to go to my daughter's basketball coaches, Coach Cole and Coach Jeffers. They brought the joy back to playing ball for my daughter. She's really been enjoying basketball this year, and it's fun to watch her working hard and having fun and accomplishing some things out there. And she's the only 7th grader that plays a lot on her team. She starts often, and she's getting a lot out of it. She's playing well. I'm like the last time I saw her play, she was in 4th grade, and I could see kind of the makings of some of this stuff. And then she hasn't played in 3 years, and she's in there, and it's like she's really taking to it right away. So it's cool to see her interested and engaged and wanting to do it. And it's fun to just be not coaching and be the parent just watching, just the fan dad watching. So a lot of fun watching her play.
Beef, I got to tell you, this is mean, but it's important. I cannot help but sit next to our mom when I go to these games because she and I are both we're cut from the same cloth. Right. And like we are like when someone is like not hustling after a ball, we're both like, oh, just take your time. Just take your time. Go ahead. Like both of us muttering under our breaths the same thing is so funny to me. Like, I'm just like, why am I getting mad about this? It's like 12-year-old kids out there playing. And I'm just like, son of a bitch. You better run. You better run. And I could feel our mom having like the same scenario going on, and I'm like, yeah, this is why I sit next to you,
man.
I told Bonita, I'm not going to give you any instruction unless you ask me. If you ask me after the game or practice or whatever about some tips, I'll give it to you. But otherwise, I'm just your dad. I'm just there to cheer, whatever. And not only has she asked for instructions or real specific things about play, but she's wanted to go to Donovan Park and practice certain parts of the game where she's not outside of practice. She wants me to, do little drills with her and make sure her game's sharp. So it's just good to see the engagement. I don't know that she'll continue playing beyond grade school, but it doesn't matter. Basketball's fun no matter when you can play it. I loved playing it for as long as I was able to, and I'm glad that she enjoys it.
And you were a great coach,
enjoy it, though, for real. Because like I know, like she was playing, and I wasn't really sure when she was younger. I wasn't sure like she like really cared about it, but like it seems like she's really into it now. So yeah, I would double down on your thank you to those coaches because she's definitely enjoying it. And cheers to Press.
Thanks, Press.
Cheers. And you were a good coach too, Love. Don't sell yourself short. You were a terrific coach.
I was not a good coach. I was a very angry coach, but I wasn't. I kept it inside. And then I punched Beef in the balls after we left.
Multiple times.
I think that we got to end on me punching Beef in the balls. So we're going to go. But thank you, everybody, for coming by, watching this. We enjoyed doing it, of course. And we will see you very soon.
Follow